Hello everybody, MD Polo here at a very quiet Range USA in Carmel, Indiana. I want to thank him very much for giving me access to the range by myself. Makes it a lot easier for you guys to hear me. Today we've got the Walther PD380 ACP. The range is empty, there's nobody at either side. So obviously a shrunken down PDP, and we'll take a look at it at the tabletop. And today we're only about 7-8 yards out, and we're shooting SMB, and it is 92 grains, of course, of 380 auto. Like I said, we're about 7-8 yards out. First shots with the Walther PD380. And we are empty with a PD380. And like I said, nobody on either side. Let me bring you in and we'll talk about the specifics when we go to the tabletop. But a little bit all over the place here. And I'll explain to you what I felt about it when we go back to the tabletop. This is a little peek at Range USA here in Carmel, Indiana. And we've got, like I mentioned, it's all empty, nobody here. 20 bays, sitting area outside, of course the shop. Very, very nice facility. Say hi to Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
There's Jeff, our range officer. He's also the armor here and takes care of guns that need repair, cleaning, and everything. But here we go. Range USA with a PDP. I'm sorry, with a PD380 from Walther. Now let's take it to the tabletop. And we're back. Now we're at the tabletop. So that was an interesting range time with a new Walther PD380, and this is the box that it comes in. We're not going to do a huge unboxing, and this review, well, it's not really a review. This is nothing more than a first impressions. I did spend some time with it at the range, not enough to really even give you an opinion, just let you know what my first impressions were. But first, let's take a look at what comes in the box. Very simple, just box from Walther. It does bring you with a lock, with an instruction manual. In here, if the focus will catch up, you get a little tiny screwdriver, and that is because the sights are adjustable. The rear sight is fully adjustable, so that's a nice thing. We'll get into that as well. So the Walther PD380, of course, chambered in 380 auto polymer frame. To give you some specs, the barrel is 3.7 inches. Capacity, it comes with 2 metal mags, and the capacity is 9 plus 1, so 9 in the mag, 1 in the chamber. It's got a bit of a little pink extension. We'll see it in a minute. So capacity of 9 plus 1, 2 metal mags. The width of it comes in at 1.25 inches from widest point to widest point. And the weight is only 20.6 ounces, so very light. And that played part on what I felt about it at the range. So just to be safe, but I've already checked it. It is clear. A little bit dirty, but it was at the range. And since we're doing that, like most 380s, just very, very easy to rack. Very soft spring in there. So if that's something that interests you, this is another one that has a very soft spring and easy to rack. So looking at the slide, looking at the overall pistol, as you can tell, is a mini PDP. It's like they took the PDP and just shrunk it down and turned it into 380. The other difference you're going to see is that it is hammer fired. It does not have a decocker, it's got a safety, and the safety has a firing pin block. So if the focus will catch up there, you can see there's unsafe, and there it will fire. Okay, so you can see now it's blocked, and now it can fire. So really, you can dry fire to your heart's desire with this, and you'll be just fine. And since we're looking at this, and since it does not have a decocker, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but let's say you're here, the hammer is cocked, and you are in the fire position. If you want to decock it, you put it on safe, and now you've got the firing pin block, so it will not go off. And then you grab it and safely press the trigger in a safe direction always, and softly put it down, and now your gun is decocked. And because it's a double action gun, you can just do your first trigger in double action. But that's the only way to decock this gun. And since we're looking at features, let's call them that, it does not have controls for a slide stop. So the only way to make the slide stay back is with an empty mag, and now it stays. So the slide stop is internal. And then from here, with your paddle mag release, we'll go through that. Now if you want to, you can just cycle the slide, and there you are. So some may like that, some may not like that it has that feature, if you will. The slide, since it's a shrunken down version of the PDP, you can see it also brings home the they call it super terrain serrations, just like on the PDP. Staying with the slide, the sights are a 3-dot sight system. Let it catch up. So 3-dot sights, and they are polymer. It is a Glock pattern sights, and the rear is fully adjustable for windage and elevation. These are your takedown tabs. And I'm not sure if I'm going to venture into taking it apart, because, let me take this out of the way. Because it is not complicated, but it can make me look like an idiot on the camera. But so we'll see if I do that or not. So there are your super terrain serrations all the way around. You have no texture at the front of your grip, and you don't have any extra panel back straps. The back straps are not removable, at least not to my knowledge, but you don't have any extras in the box. Now, how does it feel? The performance duty, I think they call it performance duty texture, like in the PDP. And you can see not only you've got one finger groove here, but this light is catching it. You can see it's got little palm swells along the way. So for me, for my hands, it fits perfect. It's a very comfortable grip. You can see it has it on both sides, and the texture goes all the way to the top, which I like very much as well. You can see the serial number is not on the frame itself, but it's in the chassis inside. Since it's got a paddle mag release, by nature is inherently ambidextrous. So if you got the paddle, you can activate it from both sides. The safety, it also can be activated from both sides. Neither one of them is obstructive, although I did have, and it's just nothing but training and becoming more familiar with a handgun, but out on the range, you can see here, it's got this ledge is here. Let it catch up. You see the ledges that it has on both sides? They're a little bit on the sharp end, and although it makes it for a comfortable place if you're going to hold it down here, I don't know the purpose of it. I don't know, because it doesn't have a mag release button here that is trying to protect it. I don't know the purpose of this ledge with a sharp edge right here. But a lot of times when I was reaching for the mag release, the paddle mag release, for some reason I went here for it, or on the way here, it's actually kind of sharp. You can see it there. So if you guys can tell me what you think the purpose is for that, I'd love to hear your comments. But other than that, ergonomically, it's a very nice handgun. At least for my hands, medium-sized gloves, it fits beautifully. The one thing you're going to see here, I'm jumping around a little bit, but it does have a 2-slot accessory rail. And I'm not sure what light will fit, because the Olight Mini, it's too big for it. And even the TLR 8 that I have here, it almost fits. You can see here the rails almost match, and it almost fits. But because the trigger guard, it's not straight, you can see how it's angled out and then in. So this angle that protrudes actually the farthest point out pushes the light a little bit ahead of where the rails would line up with the light itself. See there? So here they line up and it looks like it should fit. But because of the angle of the trigger guard, at least this light, this TLR8, is not fitting. So if you find a light for this, I'd be interested to know as well. There you go, just letting you take a look at it. Now let's talk about the trigger. So single action, double action trigger. And let's bring it down. That's on safe, and that's on fire. You see the red, then you're ready to fire. This is on safe. It's safe, okay? Red, not red. So double action, you can see the hammer moving, you got the take up. It's heavy, not gonna lie to you. You're gonna be pulling a little bit over 10 pounds. On my trigger scale, is pulling in at 10.5 pounds. It's very smooth, and it's got a very defined and hard wall. You keep pushing through it, and finally it breaks. Let's do that again. I mean, it's a hard wall. You gotta mean to pull this trigger. It cycles, so easy to cycle that. And then the single action, there, very smooth. It is very, very smooth. Then very little take up, you're back at the wall. And you gotta push 5¼ pounds to 5½ pounds. That wall on single action, is very, I mean, it's a wall. There's no roll through it. You've got to again, you have to have the intention to pull through it one more time, and then it goes. Is that a plus? Well, when I was firing it at the range, let's move on to shooting experience, let you know what I liked, what I didn't like, how it felt. It's very, very light, and that's a plus. Maybe. Being so light and having an over 10-pound trigger pull on double action, and in single action, like I showed you, having that much, half of that, 5.25 or so pound pull on single action, because that wall is really defined. You got to really make the effort to break through it. To me, it was very easy to disturb the sights. It was very easy to disturb the sights with that. Now, mind you, please, before you start blasting me in the comments section, that was my first time out at the range. I've never fired this gun before, and I'm sure if this is a gun that I was going to spend more time with, I'm sure I can get used to and be a lot more proficient with this trigger. But on a first trip, on a first impressions, it was not the most controllable handgun for me to keep the sights where I wanted them to be. And you can probably see that from the range footage. So again, ergonomics are fantastic. It fit my hand perfect. It was very comfortable to fire as far as the ergonomics of it. Very light. The sights are point of aim. So this is not a 6 o'clock hold. At least my experience with this, in my hands, it is a point of aim sight system. Another thing that was, I guess, keeping in, as per the rest of the family here of the PDP, is that it is snappier than I thought it would be. It's snappier than my Glock 42, and it's snappier than, I don't own it, but I've shot the CCP, the Walther CCP, and the Ruger LCP Max, and this is snappier than those other guns, but it comes back to zero very easily. So no issues with that. I had no issues with how snappy it was, but it was snappier than I expected. Is it something that I'm going to run out and get? Probably not. I borrowed this gun, and I don't know. This came from ZR Tactical Solutions. So our friends over there, they got this in because they do a lot of work with Walther, and they were kind enough to lend it to me for this review, and this is going back this afternoon actually. So thank you very much to ZR Tactical. So is this something that I'm going to run out and get? Probably not. Let me tell you that I was playing at the range towards the end after I had done filming and I had some ammo left. And for some reason, I started playing and just shooting it with one hand. And I shot it better with one hand than I did with two hands. So figure that one out. So for the takedown, again, jumping around all over the place. Probably shouldn't do this. I'm going to mess up the video. But all you do is pull these two tabs. You got the two tabs down. You just pull them down, and it is kind of hard to do. There goes the focus. And then the slide just comes straight out. Okay, so let you take a look at it here. Hopefully the focus is going to catch up. It's kind of dirty. It's been at the range. But you can see here it's got some very large rails. So well made overall. And for YouTube, this is something that is needed for safety, so you can clean your gun, so you can make sure it's working properly. And by no means are we altering the firearm. So there it is. And to put it back together, just goes back in the rails. And you pull down on the tabs again, and just pull back on the slide a little bit. Function check, and you're ready to go. So you don't need to press the trigger, you don't have to do anything, you don't need to line up tabs or anything. All you need to do is make sure you pull both tabs down as far as they will go, push the slide forward, and off you go. And for the reassembly, push the slide back in, and then tabs back up. Price. The MSRP of this, the Walther PD380, is coming in at $449 MSRP. If you compare that to a Glock 42 that comes in at $450, so same price. The Walther CCP, which I like a lot, is $400 MSRP. The SIG P365 380 is about $100 more at $550. And the Ruger LCP Max, which I have not tried, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, that comes in at around $400, so about $50 cheaper. but with more capacity. And I guess that's one of the questions I have for you regarding this gun. If it's coming in at $450 with 9-round capacity, and you've got something like the Ruger LCP Max that's got more capacity and it's less expensive, is there a place for this gun in the world of concealed carry for 380 auto? It's very comfortable, not crazy about the trigger, no back straps, but that's no big deal. The other thing is, and it floored me that Walther would do this, it's not optics cut. It's not ready for a red dot. So in today's world, why would you not make this gun optics ready? So there it is. We're at 18 minutes. I've gone a lot longer than I expected, but I look forward to your comments. Let me know what you think of the Walther PD380. Once again, thank you very much to ZR Tactical Solutions out of Noblesville, Indiana, for letting me borrow this pistol, and to Walther for sending it in for the review. I look forward to your comments below. That's my favorite part of the video, of running the channel really. And please remember that I upload videos every Friday morning and when I can on Wednesday mornings as well. I'm active, although less active on Instagram because I hate the way they're censoring our 2A content. But I am posting more and more over on X, which is Twitter. So if you want to give me a follow there as well, I would really appreciate it. And here on YouTube, about 80% to 85% of the viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So that's a way you can really help me, and I would appreciate it if you like what I do and you think I deserve it, that you give me a follow. That's all I got for you today. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and until the next time, God bless.